Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. One of the best performing companies on the ASX since the start of July, in fact, since the start of the financial year, has been Megaport. The share price of this company has risen by over 50% since the 1st of July. And the reason why the share price has rallied and the reason why sentiment in this company has shifted quite dramatically in the last 3 weeks since the start of July is because of a couple of really powerful financial announcements from the company. And the most powerful type of announcement is a profit upgrade. And a few weeks ago, this company did release, in fact, a profit upgrade that was on the 11th of July. EBITDA guidance update, financial year 23 and financial year 24. Now, they did hint on the 18th of July that they were going to release a quarterly report on the 27th of July before the market had opened. And I'll talk about that announcement in a second and when they exactly released the quarterly report. So I was waiting with bated breath for the quarterly report because I actually am trading this company right now because the share price is in a beautiful uptrend because of that profit upgrade on the 11th of July. But I was a little bit hesitant, a little bit wary because over the past few years, Megaport have released a few negative quarterly reports. And when this company does release negative quarterly reports, the share price can get absolutely hammered. But on the flip side, when they release a good quarterly report, the share price can get a massive lift. And that is what we have seen today with the share price increasing by 14%. Now, let's go back to the 18th of July. And they actually said here that they are due to be released, the quarterly report is due to be released pre-market open on the Thursday, the 27th of July. So I was waiting for their quarterly report, their Appendix 4C. And then 10 a.m. came around and it wasn't released. And I thought, is this a sign of a bad quarterly report? Or maybe just there's no reason behind it. Maybe they're just slow. Maybe it's the ASX fault. Who knows? But they did release a quarterly report at 10:23 a.m. and straight away the market reacted really positively to it. Now, not straight away, because when a company does release a price-sensitive announcement during trading, the shares in the company are automatically put in a halt for about 10 or 15 minutes. I forget exactly how long. But again, share price up 14.4%. So just back on the back of that share price increase, we know straight away that this was a positive announcement from the company, a positive quarter from the company. Not only that, share price nearly closed at the high. The high of the day was $10.74, and the share price closed at $10.62. So let's take a little bit of a gander at the quarterly report. Now, the first thing I always do when I open up an Appendix 4C or a quarterly report is I go to the cash flow statement. So I want to see the numbers before I read commentary or look at the presentation because I want to develop my own opinion on the results just by looking at the results. And the first thing that was pretty apparent was the operating cash flow. This company was operating cash flow positive by $6.4 million in this particular quarter, and for the year, positive by 10.2 million. And receipts also grew from the previous quarter up to $44 million. Now, what else is important for all tech-like companies is to make sure they're not burning through cash in investing and financing activities. So they did spend a little bit of money, $4.8 million in capital expenditure plus intellectual property. But if we take that away from the operating cash flow, this company was free cash flow positive in the June quarter. This is the first time in this company's history that they can say they are free cash flow positive. So possibly a really important inflection point that this company has hit right now on the 27th of July. Well, they didn't really hit it on the 27th of July. They hit it on the 30th of June, 2023. Now, the question is, moving forward, can they continue this in the next few quarters? And if this is that true inflection point, that this company is now free cash flow positive, and that means being free cash flow positive, cash on hand actually increases from quarter to quarter to quarter, which really decreases the possibility of capital raisings in the future and also debt increasing, unless, of course, they make acquisitions. So we just go back to the next section 3, section 4, cash on hand at the beginning of the quarter, 48.6 million. Cash on hand at the end of the quarter, 48.4 million. Now, the reason why it did fall, cash on hand, is because they repaid borrowings, 1.7 million. So one of the benefits of a company being free cash flow positive, it gives a lot of flexibility to the management in deciding what to do with this free cash flow. And the management of Megaport have decided to repay their debt, which could be a good thing moving forward. So let's have a look at section 7 just to see how much debt they do have on hand. And at this point in time, they have $15.2 million of debt on hand. And they could draw, looks like they could draw quite a bit more than that if they need it. So decreasing debt, free cash flow positive, things are moving in the right direction for Megaport. And as I mentioned, the next thing I want to see from this company is whether they can continue this momentum into financial year 24. And all indications are they can. Now let's have a look. Shall we have a look at the and I completely forgot, once again, I've done this once before recently, to include the cash receipts history for Megaport since they listed on the ASX way back in 2016. So this company has been on the ASX for 7.5 years. And back then, they had $540,000 receipts. So receipts have grown from $540,000 in a quarter to 44 million. That is a definition of really good growth in revenue or cash receipts. Now, this is a sort of cash receipts history I want to see to invest in a company for the long term. An upward slope in, well, maybe not upward slope, but an upwards trend in cash receipts. Now, there was a little bit of nervousness around this company back in late 2022, started 2023. You can see there were 2 quarters when cash receipts dropped from 31.6 million down to 23.6 million, but it seems like those 2 quarters were abnormal, abnormal. That's the word? Outliers. That's the word I was looking for. A couple of outliers, and it didn't really fit the trend, the upwards trend we are seeing. So receipts back up to 40.9 million in the March quarter, and then 44 million, a record quarter in the June quarter for financial year 23. So things are still moving in the right direction for Megaport when you look at the cash receipts history. So this is the weekly chart. Actually, let's have a look at the weekly chart first. This is actually the daily chart. So this is a very typical pattern we have seen for many tech companies, where sort of like I call it the Matterhorn pattern, something I've just, it's my own pattern. I haven't trademarked it or anything, but you can just see when in 2020 into 2021, interest rates are low. These sort of companies, the main focus was increasing revenue, increasing cash receipts, and they didn't care about profits. They didn't care about cash burn because that's the main thing they were concentrating on. And then everything flipped when interest rates started to rise. And these sort of companies that were burning through a lot of cash saw the share price absolutely plummet. So the share price of Megaport actually fell from $22 all the way down to a low of $4. And that low of $4 was actually reached about 4 or 5 months ago. But the sentiment in this company has shifted from highly negative to positive. And the share price is now on a pretty significant run and has moved into an uptrend. And we can see that uptrend via the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. Just forget that stop. I'll just get rid of that stop right now. In fact, my stop for this company has now increased on back of today. And even though the share price was still in a downtrend, that downtrend really came to an end on the 28th of April 2023 when they released the last Appendix 4C for the March quarter, so 3 months ago. And when the share price went sideways for about 3 weeks after that, that was a good sign that sentiment was changing and the bottom had been reached. And then the share price went on a nice rally. So actually moved into an uptrend technically towards the end of May. And then the company released that EBITDA upgrade, that profit upgrade on the 11th of July. Share price rose 33.8%. Share price after that went sideways. So what you don't want to see after a company releases a good announcement like that is a lot of selling. And you see that selling when the share price plummets from the high of that particular trading day. So the day that the share price increased 34.8%, the share price closed at $8.99. If you see the share price fall to say $7 or so, a lot of selling is coming in. And for Megaport, there was very little selling. Well, the best way to say it is there were people selling, investors selling, but there was enough demand to meet that supply of those who wanted to sell out. And more than likely, those who were selling out were those shareholders who bought probably near the high and as the share price was tumbling, because they thought, well, share price is down 40% from the highs, it's good value here. But when you see the share price falling like this, it is not the time to take a position because you think it's good value. Now is the time to think about taking a position in Megaport because sentiment has shifted from negative to positive. And the main driving force for share price movement is sentiment. And when I say main, it is the driving force for share price movement. You want positive sentiment if you are long a company. You want positive sentiment behind that company because that is what ultimately drives the share price. What can turn sentiment and drive, or on the flip side, drive sentiment from being positive to highly positive is really good financial data, financial news from the company. And that is what Megaport has done in July 2023. So that's the really good daily chart. And if we look at the 1 hourly chart, and this is something I'm looking at more and more now, this is really bullish as well. So even though after that really good day on the 11th of July, share price just going sideways. So not a lot of selling, and I put my stop at $9. And the reason I put my stop at $9 was pretty easy, because we weren't seeing the share price go below that for about 2 weeks. So from the 11th of July to 26th of July, share price was not getting below $9. It was getting close, but if I saw the share price get towards $9 and then fall below $9 on strength, I was going to take profits. Would have been small profits, but I was willing to wait until the company released their quarterly report, which they did today, and I'm glad I did wait. I was a little bit nervous that there was a possibility that the report was going to be negative, but share price, $10.62. The last time the share price was at this level, we have to go back to the daily chart. Last time the share price was this level was way back on the 21st of April 2022. So we are talking about a 15-month high for this company. And there's no reason why the share price of Megaport can't get back up to those highs we saw back in late 2021. So we're talking about $22. So there's no reason the share price could double from here, particularly if they keep this momentum moving forward over the next few quarters. So that's really all I've got for this video. Nice looking chart for Megaport, a couple of really good announcements from the company, and I can really understand why the market is excited about this company. Again, pretty good volume as well. The other thing I look at is volume, not quite as high volume as we saw when they did release that EBITDA upgrade on the 11th of July, but still really good volume and a really bullish one-day candlestick as well. So if you have any questions about this company, if you have any thoughts about Megaport, you just leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor, and I have to put my phone on battery, 10% power. I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.